Hello, it's Heavy Businessing with Suze. How are you guys doing? I know it's just me. I'm all by myself. Well, not completely. I've got Bernie up there. You know you guys. He watches the show every single week because Bernie's awesome. We have Haley Gray with Women's Entrepreneur Network joining me here soon, but she's running a few minutes late. No worries. We're going to have a fun show today, and we are going to talk about why the heck are you guys waiting? And I kind of made it vague on purpose, so we have stuff to talk about here. So Haley's going to show up in a few minutes. Bernie's sitting on the sidelines watching. He's ready to engage and answer your questions, you guys. So drop your comments, ask your questions. Me, Haley, and Bernie, we are all here for you. All right, I see Haley's ready to join. Haley, you ready to add? You ready for me to add you? All right, I got the thumbs up, guys. Woo!
Hey, how's it going?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, we don't have your sound yet, dear.
Really? That's odd. You should be able to hear me.
Hear me?
I can hear you.
That's okay. We'll give her a few minutes to sort that out. No worries. So you guys, today we're talking about why are you waiting? And today's show, Happy Businessing with Suze, is going to be, talking about why, drum roll, why is it that a lot of you guys are waiting until something is broken? Waiting until something is on fire to hire someone like me to help you, okay? And what I've realized is that I'm really sick and tired. Oh, is she ready? Let's try it. Are you there?
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, we can't hear you. That's so weird.
Do you have your earbuds?
Many times. Oh, it's my fault, you guys.
Ha!
Oh my God, that was a rookie mistake. That's hilarious. So everyone was probably trying to scream at me saying, Suze, the problem is you. All right, I have my...
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yay!
I'm so sorry, you guys. All right, so we have some people watching. Thank you so much. All right, that is embarrassing. We had a couple issues today. No big deal. These things happen. Haley, thank you for being here.
I'm excited to be here. I'm finally home. Oh my gosh, crazy.
That's
time getting home. I was like...
That's okay. And, we can go a little over the half an hour if we need to cover what we got to cover. It's totally fine. I didn't even do the normal introduction thing. So let me start by doing that. So I'm Susan Fessenden, founder of Profit Logics, and I have 25 years of real, hands-on, legit business management experience in the trenches, rolling up my sleeves, doing everything from accounting, finance, HR, org dev, executive leadership, operations, you name it. I've kind of dabbled in all of it. And I decided to take all of that experience and put it into one toolbox called the 5 missing pieces. And this consists of the 5 business questions, which are the who are we, what do we do, where are we going, how do we get there, and are we on track? That to me is the perfect recipe for a successful business. All right. And today we have on Haley Gray. She comes on every month, fourth, it's Tuesday for you guys, right? 4th Tuesday of the month. And Haley Gray is the founder of Fiercely Marketing and Leadership Girl, as well as Women's Entrepreneur Network, a Facebook group with 72,000 amazing women entrepreneurs. So if you're not in that group yet, go there. I think there's a link to it down in the post, so you guys can check that out. Haley says, don't worry, it's not just for women. It's for women entrepreneurs and really smart men. Love that. So Haley, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good. You had me getting nervous for a minute. It's so funny when, even though I've been going live for how long now? Like 9 months. When I go back to realizing that it could just be me, I do get that internal panic still, like, oh, shit.
Well, and I texted you and said, I'm on my way. And I'm like, I'm driving up the driveway. And I'm like, just a second.
I knew you were going to make the show. I know you wouldn't let me down. But it's just so funny how even after going live this many times, how much going live by yourself is just not as much fun for me. Anyway, so I'm glad you're here.
It's
Thank you.
Different bailiwick, isn't it?
Yes. All right. So before we dive into the why the hell are you guys waiting until shit is broken and until shit is on fire to address some of your foundation issues in your business, I want to let you do some shout outs, Haley, for some things that you have going on. So I know that you have a mini virtual summit coming up right away. What's that?
So we have the Getting It Done in 2021
Okay.
mini summit, February 2nd, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. And then we have the When Talk, which is on the 28th. So that's this Thursday, my time at 1 p.m. Eastern. And it's doing short, bite-sized, 20-minute signature talks. We have a live networking event next Thursday, When Networking. So we've got all kinds of crazy stuff coming up.
Yeah.
Like back to back. It's going to be just as crazy as I am.
Well, and some of those time zones just don't work for me well.
Well, yeah, you're only about 13 hours off of me.
That's right. Yes, I'm here in Tokyo. Haley's in North Carolina, you guys. But I'm also really excited about the April summit. Woo! You guys, I went big. I say go big or go home. I went big and I signed up to be a presenting sponsor or sponsoring. What was it called?
You are a presenting sponsor. So you are.
Yes.
One, the big sponsor for the summit. And we're really excited to have you. One summit in April is April 15th through the 17th. And it's going to be so exciting because we're going to have over 200, probably closer to 400 entrepreneurs joining to talk about mastering your business mindset.
It's incredible. Was last year's the one that I did my thing in. Was that your first official summit?
That was.
You guys, that
was the first
incredible
live virtual one that was done that way. Yeah.
It was incredible, you guys. So don't miss out. Haley, if you want to post a link in the comments, do that. Because I wasn't able, I'm not sure if people can sign up already for that April summit, but
wensummit.com.
When Summit, WEN Summit.com. All right, great. Okay, so this is what I want to talk about today. You guys, I had an epiphany, AKA a breakthrough, AKA an oh my God moment. I can't wait to share it all with you.
I can't wait to hear what it is.
Oh my God. Well, you know what it is because
I might have guessed, yes.
Kind of helped nudge it along. So here's the deal, you guys.
You with a sharp stick, yep.
Yes. So some of you guys may know that I joined the Bully Gang. And 2 weeks ago, I had on Dave Anderson, the business bully. And I'm starting to work with his coaching team. And I swear to God, you guys, they're rubbing off on me. And I realize that it's time for my little inner bully to come out.
Yeah.
This is what I was talking to Haley about, you guys. We were talking about how everyone right now is so focused on lead generation, this trick of getting good leads, getting your sales funnel on social media, because social media is complex and it's a new thing for a lot of people, especially in my age group. It's been a massive learning curve, right?
It's a massive learning curve no matter what age you are, getting onto social media and trying to use it to generate business.
Yes. So, we have tried with Profit Logics a few different strategies, a few different things, a couple different workshops. I have an e-course on first-time hiring that I thought was going to be a hit. A Skyrocket Your Biz 101 course that I thought was going to be a hit. And, I've been evaluating our messaging and our strategy. And that's why I joined the Bully Gang, because I need a breath of fresh air. I need kind of like someone from the outside to look at my business and go, oh, here, tweak this, right? And so I'm really excited to start on that journey with them. It's been amazing so far. And I was messaging with Haley and just telling her, I'm kind of still in this place of trying to figure out what that right messaging is. And she is this, amazing marketing expert, and she brings me back to the basics like she always does, which is, well, what are your customers' pain points? Focus on those. What are the pain points that you relieve for your customers? And I was grumpy. Am I not representing it right?
No, you were grumpy.
Okay. So I was grumpy, and I'm like, well, damn it. I'm so sick of this. I don't want to address your pain points, people. You know what I want to do? I want to prevent your pain points.
Right. Yeah. An ounce of prevention being worth a pound of cure, right?
Oh my God, yes. And so what I'm realizing is that, I have spent this entire time making sure I never promote or market coming from a negative or coming from a threat. This is why, you guys, you never once saw me market around COVID. I didn't do it. I didn't go, hey, you need to pivot right now. You're going to lose everything. So sign up for my service. I didn't do any of that stuff, right? Because I was clinging to this idea that selling with threats and selling from a negative was wrong. But here's the truth. These threats are real. And if I don't talk about them with you guys, then I'm actually doing you a disservice. And so I think I'm having my own little breakthrough, and my own little inner bully is coming out. And I'm not going to keep these real threats that are there, that are lurking in your business, to myself anymore. And so I'm super grateful for Haley, because she inadvertently caused me to have a breakthrough, because you did. You really helped, because you were, telling me to go to the core, which is true. Yes, typically for most business services, you do want to look at the pain points you're solving and use those as your targeting strategy, right? Where you're talking about, oh, are you going through turnover? Oh, are you having issues with, the IRS, right? You can go from pain points to sell and market. So typically that's the perfect advice, except that my business model is one that's proactive. And I offer a service that people don't necessarily understand, because their shit hasn't caught on fire yet, because their shit hasn't broken yet, because the wheels have not fallen off of their bus yet. Mm-hmm. And so they don't know what they don't know. So I think it's hard for them to understand, why would I spend time building this foundation and do this planning work right now? That's not a priority right now. Right now, I need to work on this or this or this. And so I am, I'm kind of changing my approach a little bit, and I'm going to do more truth telling, and I'm going to talk more about why it's important to work on this foundational stuff early. All right, let me do some shout outs. Tanya Bach, thank you. You love the mittens. Yes, Bernie's here with us. He's loving the show. He says hello. And Bobby Joe, thank you very much. I'm sorry about the sound problems earlier. Sandra, hi. Sandra's my aunt. That's so sweet. I'm getting lots of love. Lots of love today. I love it. All right. So what I want to talk about is, let's say that in your mind, your sales and revenue generation does feel like the top priority. And it should be pretty high up there. Mm-hmm. What I would say is that regardless of who you work with the Haley Grays of the world, you work with the Eric Embachers, my website guy, you work with the Orana creatives, my creative person, my teammate. Guess what they're going to need to be effective for you? Any guesses? Does anyone know what a marketing team and marketing experts will need before they can actually create a strategy for you, and before they can execute on that, and before that marketing and sales strategy is going to be effective? It's some of the 5 missing pieces, folks. Before they can help you, they're going to have to ask you a whole bunch of questions. And guess what? A lot of this is overlap with what my program does. Mm-hmm. What's your offer? What are you offering? What does that look like? Who are you? What's your culture? What do you care about? What's the identity of your business? Yep. Where are you going? What's the vision for your business? Do you have multiple phases like Susan does? Do you know what your end game is? Because that matters. It all matters. So doing this foundation work is actually going to be a complement to all of these other services that you guys are already feeling like is a priority. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Totally. I agree. I mean, in order to market it, you've got to know, where you're going and why you're in this handbasket.
Yeah. So
And
have you had trouble with clients that didn't have some of this stuff sorted out yet?
oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm not putting you on the spot, but are you able to tell us about that?
so what I see a lot of times is, it's really easy to build the funnels. It's easy to build the offers. I mean, there's a ton of people online that sell, oh, well, sell this online course and, you're going to make all this money and it's going to be this great passive income and it's going to be blah, 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 blah. And a lot of times what ends up happening is people get sold that vision of that passive income before they've ever really made that transition to doing business online. Now, there's people that are offline that are being very successful offline. But if you haven't gotten online and made that transition to the online space and started selling your stuff in the online space, what ends up happening a lot of times is that I see that no matter almost what profession they're in, whether they're, health and wellness professionals, functional blah, blah, blah doctors, or all these kinds of different professions, the online space is a much more competitive environment where messaging and targeting is so much more important. And you have to really dial in on your audience and your message and your branding to a much higher degree than you do with in-person marketing. So they try to make this, well, I'm successful offline, so I can just go online and make all this money. And it's a really frustrating place. And it's scary because you're like, well, I'm so successful offline. Why am I not so successful here? And a lot of it's because you don't have your audience information as dialed in as it could be. Mm-hmm. Or your messaging isn't as dialed in, or the problems that you're serving are not as dialed in, because, in the offline space, you get all these referrals and this word of mouth and people come and they find you and it's easy. And then you have to go into this online space and you're dealing with people you don't know terribly well. And you're having to rebuild relationships and exist in a whole new space. And I mean, it's almost like, moving to Japan and trying to build a business there and build all your networks.
What? Who would be crazy enough to do something like that?
I don't know. You know anybody?
Yes, we moved to Japan 2.5 years ago. It's been a ride. It's been a ride. But you know what? What I'll tell you is this is really strange. So when I first moved to Tokyo, I was really out there a lot. I was doing in-person networking like crazy. Mm-hmm. And business just came to me. Like opportunities just came up, you guys. So I never had to worry about, getting my sales funnel just right on social media. I didn't have to worry about any of that stuff for the whole first year because I came across opportunities that felt right and I got involved in them, and that kept me busy through that whole first year. And then I knew that I now needed to finally focus on my marketing. And so then I started that last year and started my Facebook group, Skyrocket Your Biz. There's a link to it. Join it. We have lots of fun in there. And I started going live and I started doing social media posts. And then I finally, did the smart thing because I wasn't being consistent. And I hired Armana Creative to take over my social media. So now we have that stuff dialed in. But I'm finding that, my messaging still wasn't totally dialed in. And that's, I think, because I have more education to do with my market. So they understand I can't necessarily, I can market on your potential pain points. Yes. I can fix your pain points. Yes. But I'm realizing I am not as passionate about fixing pain points after the fact anymore. I've spent my entire career being Fix-It Susie and coming into these businesses that are on the verge of ruin, that are so close to failure. It takes everything you've got to pull it back. It's very expensive to pull it back, revamp the culture, fix the cash flow, get the accounting and compliance up to date, all of these things, right? And so I'm finding that I'm just really not that passionate about marketing to people's current pain points anymore.
Yeah.
And
fixing and
so,
mopping up the disasters.
yeah, why? And then it made me frustrated. I'm like, why do people have to learn the hard way? Why do these small business owners have to feel that pain to learn from it? Why not learn from other people's mistakes and other people's experiences? I know what troubles lurk for you in your business. You don't. You can't even see, not you, Haley. I'm talking to them.
No, I mean, but it's hard because if you don't have experience building a business,
Yeah.
or you've never had a business implode, or
Yeah.
you've never had these things happen,
Yes.
or lived through it, it's really hard to foresee the problems before they become a problem, unless you're working with somebody who's a professional who can help you figure it out and, avoid the disaster.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've seen it all. I've seen so many different types of business disasters in the making, after the fact. And, I just decided, in that conversation with you the other day, I'm tired of being Fix-It Susie. Fix-It Susie is hella expensive, you guys. And then I was even thinking about how once people are in trouble, then they're like desperate to get someone like me, to get an expert to help them, right? And they don't know who they're looking for. They don't know who to hire. So guess what? Then they hire the wrong person. They spend all that money, and then their problems are even worse. So I've been in situations where I've been hired after the Fix-It Bob had already been hired, and they gave him 6 months. And after the Fix-It Gina was in trying to fix it, and then they finally, come across me. So I'm then fixing the Fix-Its, and it's a mess, right?
Oh, it's a disaster.
I just don't want this for you guys. And that's why I created the 5 missing pieces. That's why I created my framework. That's why I do what I do, because I know that running a successful business is the ultimate socioeconomic equalizer, you guys. Not everyone in the US can go to college. Okay. It's virtually impossible if you're a normal person with normal parents and a normal, middle or low income class category to go to college. You need other options in your life. And for me, small business ownership is the way for a lot of people to break free, right? But I get worried because they're not building their business right from the beginning with a strong foundation. And,
And Tanya asked the great question. So why do people wait so long to get it fixed? Because they don't know better. A lot of times you don't realize how far you are, if you're circling the drain, how close you are to the drain.
Yeah.
Before you agree to getting it fixed or to address it. And a lot of times we bury our heads in the sand.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that that's more often than not to see, people just bury their heads because it's not easy. And oh my gosh, you're going to have to pay for this, and you're going to have to go through some pain, and you're going to have to do some digging and some soul searching.
Yeah. Well, and something else I've seen is people try to remedy it themselves, but they don't know how. And it's like, there was some analogy a while back about how someone parked their truck on the beach. And then the tide came in. And they were like, oh, crap. Everyone get shovels, start digging the sand out, and so we can drive the truck out. And, it's useless. You're taking action, right? They're taking action, so that makes them feel like they're doing something, but they're taking the wrong action, right? Yeah. And that truck just continues to sink. So I want people to build a strong foundation from the beginning so they can avoid these things. And let's see. We have more comments here. Thank you, Tanya. Getting proactive to get going and keep going. Yes.
You have to do it to scale and grow.
Yeah. So anyway, that is the epiphany I've had for my own business, that, I've spent a lot of time not telling you guys about what the real threats are, because I just felt like, oh, I don't want to sell from a negative, but I am going to start being more honest, and I'm going to start talking about the shit I've seen and the stuff that goes down when you do not address these business foundation issues. Number one, I'm also going to talk about how if you haven't done some of this foundation work, that pretty much all the other money you're throwing at your business for sales or marketing or other things that you're building are not going to be as effective. It's not to say they won't work, okay? You could get lucky and they could work, but they're not going to be as reliably effective without doing some of this foundation work. And
I agree.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we don't do the foundational work on a lot of levels in our businesses, whether it's the 5 questions or the foundational stuff as far as operations. It's just, people are desperate to make money and they want to make money now. Yes. And sometimes we, depending on how the business is formed too, the other thing I see is that, you may start a business and you get lucky and you get your first few clients, so you don't realize how far you are down the road of having a disaster until it all hits the fan.
Right. Yeah, it happens a lot.
And I see it. I mean, it's funny, I work with a lot of businesses, and I do primarily, almost entirely focusing on the marketing perspective, but you'd be amazed at how much the marketing is tied into your operations.
Yeah.
If you're doing your marketing correctly, it's really tied into your operations, and it's all one coherent thing. And if not, then, it's more of that fixing broken stuff.
Yeah. Well, I've told people, I did this little seminar for these, it was like some manufacturing day, National Manufacturing Day. We had students come in and do a tour, and we had we thought they were cool, but honestly, I know these kids probably thought all the activities were lame. But we even let them help build some of our electronics. So that was kind of cool, right? But one of the things that I explained to them is that business is so special because you can create something from nothing. First of all, that's why I think it's like magic. Okay. But I look at it like a band. And you've got the drums, you've got, maybe some horns, you've got a bass player, you've got guitar, you've got a singer. And if you just have a band that's just focusing on drums, you're screwed. If you just have a band that's
unless they're steel drums.
Yeah. I mean, you know what I mean. If it's a band, okay, fine. It's not a good example. But my point to these kids was, when all of it is dialed in together and integrated, and there's a song which is written, and that's the plan, right? It's beautiful. You make beautiful music, and it all comes together. And that's how I look at business when I think of accounting, operations, marketing, sales, the engineering team, the manufacturing team. For me, they're all pieces of the band playing together.
Yeah, and they all have to work together. And if they're not, well, that's where Fix-It Suze has to come in. And that's and I'll be honest, it costs probably order of magnitude as much to fix.
Yeah. Hi, Jennifer. Thanks for saying hi.
That much more time.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and when I'm Fix-It Suze, I'm not cheap. I mean,
well, like I said, it's order of magnitude more because it takes you more time, more effort, more energy. And you can't do it at your own pace and your own speed.
Yeah. Yep, it's true. Well, we are streaming to 8 places simultaneously thanks to StreamYard. Whoop. Love it. So I'm going to give some quick shout outs to the Skyrocket Your Biz family, my Women's Entrepreneur Network family, Haley Gray's group, Bedrock Business Builders, that's Joe's group, Business Growth Together. It's a free advertising and promotion group for B2B services. So you guys can join that and post your promos and, engage if you'd like. We're also streaming to YouTube and LinkedIn. So yay. And Haley, thank you for showing up.
Thank you for having me. I am so glad I got here.
No, I'm so glad. And I'm sorry that I didn't have my stupid headphones on. That was so silly.
That was awesome.
So I think we should wrap up here by checking in with Bernie. I'm feeling the burn. Bernie, how are you doing today? What do you think of today's show? Man, he's quiet. He's not real talkative. I don't know. Maybe he's just really cold.
Maybe.
Someone asked him, hey, were you just really grumpy that day? Because you looked like a grumpy old man sitting there. And he's like, no, I was just paying attention, just watching what's going on.
He's probably cold, sitting out in 32-degree weather, with the wind blowing and everything else. And, he's just hanging.
Yeah. No, I love that Bernie's getting some love. I think he is legitimately a good person. So I love
Did you hear what he did? They took the memes and printed them on shirts, and they sold out and raised money for the food bank. I think that is so cool.
That's who he is. I think he's just a good guy. And Tanya says, what's in that ominous manila envelope? They asked him. Do you remember how before they got the picture of him sitting in that chair, there was a picture of him holding some manila envelope?
Oh.
And they asked him in the interview, like, what was in the envelope? And he's like, it's a secret or something like that. It's really funny.
That's awesome.
Anyway, all right, you guys. Well, thank you for watching. Haley, thank you so much for being on. Tanya, Jennifer, Bobby Joe, and yes, and Sandra, thank you for commenting, and everyone, thank you for watching. Have a great day and happy businessing.